everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Fourtress of a podcast about movies, TV shows, video games, and lots of pop culture nerd things. My name is Oscar. I'll be one of your hosts today. With me per usual are two of your other hosts. We got Brian, also known as the Beard and new reliable and the Spider-Man villain, Mr. Negative, on a Dragon Ball Z redemption arc, and Devin, you know him as the Brains and Mr. Nowhere, back from a mini hiatus on the podcast. We're glad to have you back, Devin.
What's up, bruv? Yeah. I'm back from the UK.
Oh boy.
He didn't
Are you
learn
gonna keep
much.
that up this whole time?
Call me the Mandem.
Oh boy.
You get me.
Yeah, Devin's a European now. I mean, he always has been in his blood. We know that, but
very true, very true.
Now he's gone back to his roots.
He's gone back to his roots. He offered someone money to own us the other day.
Anyways, listen, boys. When I was over there, I was like, "Listen, this weather, it's pretty nice. Like a little colder."
Was it? Weren't you?
It was
Because you were
pretty
in
great.
London. I hear it's nothing but fucking. It's like the
It's
UK
cold, rainy,
Seattle.
Overcast, yeah.
Overcast, it's cloudy. It's like 50 degrees all the time. It's beautiful, man.
You know that is your weather.
I was about to
1,000%.
say,
I
I think
forgot.
it is
That
my
is
weather.
1,000% your weather.
Yeah.
That literally sounds miserable to me, but go off.
If
Just saying, when
misery
it's 80 degrees
was
outside, I'm like, I gotta take a shower. I'm sweating. It's 50 degrees outside. The sweater, I'm good to go.
I'm like in the between those two. Give me a good 70, and I'm set. I'm set.
Yeah, maybe 70 is where all people meet.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. How you doing though, man? How you doing?
Good. So excited about our main topic here today.
Are you? Aren't you glad you're back and you made it for this one?
right. He actually came early. He got on a first class flight right back here early because he's like, I need to talk
about Rebel Moon. Shit. I'm sorry. I gotta go. I gotta cut this trip short. Yeah. Well, we got a big show today, you guys. So with that, shall we hop into our first segment of the week?
Let's
do it.
News talk. But as usual, listeners, you can check the time codes if you want to skip spoilers or jump to anything like that. It's all down there. Check it out. On to our first piece of news. Pertaining like our main topic. Speaking of Netflix, The Witcher show. We all know it. We all love it. Right? Not really. It in some people might say it's positive, but it's mostly negative. It got renewed for its 5th and final season. So apparently this it's filming its 4th, which we all know. Sans what's his name? Henry Cavill as Geralt. It is now Liam Hemsworth, the other Hemsworth. That's not Thor.
That was a choice. Which you've seen no footage, no shots or anything of.
I haven't seen him yet.
Yeah.
We haven't seen him in costume yet. No, we've seen him like at a table read. They released some pictures of their table read with him there. I think they want to give some people some positivity. But I don't nothing of him in costume quite yet. So we know that's happening, season 4, but we did not know that they were getting a season 5. We know that it's been greenlit. But this is where it's like not exactly the best news was from my memory. I think they originally pitched a 7-season story of these whole things because obviously for readers of the books, we know that one makes sense book wise. There's 1 season per book, and 2 more seasons is not enough time to cover the rest of the books that they have because I think they're in theory they've gone through the 2nd of 5 of the saga books, I think. So they would be something like that. I can't remember. But yeah, so clearly I think especially one it wasn't very good ratings wise. I don't think people were digging it to a point. And now with their lead gone, I would imagine Netflix is like, well, this is gonna get worse. So probably cut our losses. Yeah, I mean, look, my only positive thing is they know it's not gonna be like every other Netflix show that gets canceled after 1 season where they didn't know and there's no ending. At least for this, it's probably not gonna be good, but at least they'll make an ending.
At least it will end. And that's a positive.
You know?
That's the most positive thing about a franchise is the fact that it ends.
The best news we can say is that it will end. Yeah.
It will end.
I mean, I already kind of I don't even know if I made this. I should have made this my prediction or whatever, that I think that this season's going to be bad. And I assumed that the show was going to get canceled after this season because the reviews are going to be so poor. Because season 3's reviews were pretty bad. And that still had, Henry Cavill in it. So I can only imagine that Liam Hemsworth is coming into kind of a shit show and get your bag, king, make your money, whatever. I'm not mad at you for it. It wasn't your decision. You're just trying to get a job.
Yeah.
but they're gonna eat you up in the comments, brother. I'm gonna let you know right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Probably has
I
any
mean, look,
Poker
who
games.
knows? He could surprise us. And no
Maybe,
one thought Henry
maybe.
Cavill would fit. I did. No one else did. But who knows? It's
It's just a weird
I
space
don't
to get
know.
into to just replace a character just
It is.
mid,
It is. It's
space like that. I don't know if you can pull it off. Like, shout out to you, but I can only imagine that can be a weird position to be in.
We know that half the viewers that they get, maybe more than half the viewers for The Witcher, are only here to. It's women that like Henry Cavill, okay, and they're only
Probably.
here to hear him grunt and say "fuck." Like that's all they're here for. So now that that's gone, just wrap it up.
Are there any Liam Hemsworth girlies in the chat? We got any Liam?
I don't. Not like Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill.
Yeah. If this was like if this was peak Hunger Games, yes, I would say yes. But what was the last movie you saw him in? I don't even know.
Right.
I don't remember.
Man, I don't know. I mean, listen, I think Henry Cavill is just much more of an attractive man. I mean, Liam Hemsworth is an attractive man too, I think. But Henry
He's not
Cavill's
an unattractive man.
attractive.
He just looks like a Ken doll. He looks just kind of generic.
It's the battle of the attractive men. But I don't know. I feel like he often reads less like manly man that they try to put into. Like, it's not as much of his character, or like the same way they write the Rock to be the nicest man on earth. They kind of made Henry Cavill be like the man's man. He looks like he chopped down a tree or some shit. Liam Hemsworth doesn't really have that image.
It's his eyes. It's his pretty blue eyes.
He does have very, very kind and soft eyes.
He's prettier than Henry Cavill.
He doesn't look like he hit somebody in their face. Yeah,
he doesn't look like he could grow a dope mustache like Henry Cavill could.
No, Henry Cavill's got that square, draw. Like
he's not reloading his arms.
He's Superman, man.
He's Superman. Come on. Yeah, it's hard.
You wouldn't cast Liam Hemsworth to play Superman.
No, I don't think so. No. But anyways, so this show it's whatever. The other bad news behind it is one of the spin-offs that they were planning has been axed. Apparently, it was going to be about the rats, which I didn't know about that, and that is fine. I don't really care. I don't need a fucking whole story about the rats, which are a group of basically like children thieves that I don't want to spoil nothing, so that's it. But I don't care. Cool, whatever. But this to me seems like they axed that. I think this is the slow end of the Witcher universe on Netflix. They did an animated movie. We know another animated movie is coming out, which I'm actually excited for. The return of Doug Cockle as Geralt in this animated movie, which is pretty dope.
That'd be cool.
But I think this is probably the slow end of The Witcher on Netflix.
I remember that origin story that they wrote. That was like 4 episodes or something. And that shit was one of the worst things I've ever seen before in my life.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, that one wasn't that great either.
That was some of the worst TV I've ever watched, to be honest with you.
Oh, what, one of the animated ones?
No, it was a live action like origin story. Was it like 2021 that came out?
I think it came out last year.
Was it last year?
Was it last year? So it felt a while ago. I think it came out late early. It might have come out like Christmas of like 2022. So that's you know what I mean?
I remember watching it. That was like the one thing I watched as soon as it came out, and it was like that was a mistake.
Yeah.
The best thing was that it was 4 episodes, but even that felt too long.
See, man, I think it'd be better if they like their animated stuff. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm intrigued. But I think they do
the one they made was good.
Stuff.
Yeah, that's true. The one that they did come out with, it's a Vesemir origin the story, that animated movie, is actually good. I enjoyed it.
I did
it was
good
actually
things.
fun.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, it goes down to a budget, and it's just like building fantasy and even like space stuff. Like, you got to have the money behind those things. Unfortunately, it's just like to build a world, you need the money for it, and Netflix is only going to give you so much.
Right. And also, if you deviate so strongly, like I think season 3, I haven't even finished it yet because it just was so off. The events of the book, where it's like, so if you lose the original, like, so if your budget, which I guess is the same for the Halo show, whatever, like, if your budget makes you make certain changes to the script, you lose the original fans, and then so what's keeping people here? It's Henry Cavill's pecs. But other than that, like, once you lose that,
and now those are gone.
Nobody's getting anything out of this anymore.
Yeah, it's tough. But we'll get. I mean, I think this world is rich, and I think it'll get fucking.
And that's the saddest thing about it.
A redo in 5 to 10 years on one other streaming
HBO,
service. Someone else will
please,
take a
HBO.
crack at it. Someone else.
Maybe Prime.
Honestly, either that or I'll even chuck out Amazon now because just speaking on Fallout budget wise, not amazing all the time, but they clearly have money, you know, and so I would go to one of those two, just based off budget.
Yeah.
All right, that's that for that piece of news. In order to move on, we have to head to the trailer park, so let's do that.
Mom's Spaghetti.
Lovely. Here we are in the trailer park. Once again, my friends, we got two trailers to talk about. One that just dropped mere hours ago. Very excited to talk about. It is the second trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine.
Ooh, baby.
Who let's fucking go, as the motto for this trailer goes, guys. I will just say, let's fucking go. I don't want to jinx it, but guys, this movie can't be bad. It just won't be bad. It just won't be. I got faith.
I do have faith. I do have faith this is gonna be the next Guardians of the Galaxy for the Marvel universe. Of like, it might not break the newest of new ground or like, you know, blow your socks off, but it's gonna be a really solid, good movie, which we haven't seen.
It'll be a fun ride.
Yeah.
They need a dub, man. They need a dub badly.
Real bad. And I think this is gonna be
just the benefit of like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
That was really it. Is that I think this is what they need. This is gonna be it for them.
Yeah. As Deadpool put it, he's Marvel Jesus at this point. It's come to save everyone.
Could be.
I mean, look, I think Deadpool at this point, at least for me, I think is 2 for 2. I think both Deadpool movies are good. Neither one of them, I think, would ever be put in a bad category. I think they're both fun and good for what they are, and they're great. So I think, these batting 100, or 1,000. So let's see where this goes.
Looks like it's going to keep its R rating. Looks like it's going to keep the jokes. Yep. That's what we really need. That's what I was most worried about, I think. But it looks like they were smart.
Yeah, I think definitely like Kevin Feige and Disney were smart in the sense that, like you get this character, you do with this character, don't water it down. And I think, even though they make a joke at the end of the trailer with the whole Kevin Feige, that's the one thing he said we can't do is talk about cocaine. We cannot do cocaine. That's the one thing we draw the line at. So I think that is fun, even poking fun at shit like that. I think this movie, this movie is just gonna be a fun ride.
That's hilarious. It is funny how many kids are gonna. Well, can they go see this movie? I guess if it's gonna be rated R, maybe they can't.
With adult supervision.
Yeah, with adult supervision, you can.
You know what else is gonna be crazy? Is and we saw parts of it in the trailer. Is like the fights between Deadpool and Wolverine, who can both heal, can be so gruesome, like
brutal, dude. Like there's a shot. Obviously Wolverine stabs Deadpool in the gooch, which I mean, he's gonna go for the dick. You gotta do it.
Yeah.
And then there's a part where Deadpool just like unloads the pistols into Wolverine's ribcage, just like over and over. It's like, God damn, this fight's gonna be brutal, bro.
Yeah, that's gonna be a crazy fight.
Like, I would not be surprised if at one point Wolverine's just cutting Deadpool's limbs off, like over and over again, type shit. Like, it's gonna be crazy.
Like in the comics, there's brutal moments like that a lot, so it's like kind of fit.
Oh yeah, especially for these two. Hell yeah. Yeah, man, I'm so excited. Hugh Jackman coming back. We'll say potentially one last time. I think if this does well, I think he's always stated from the beginning he just wants to fight the Hulk. He wants Wolverine to fight the Hulk.
That's
and I think if he came back for this, and if the Hulk comes back for Avengers, he will be in the Avengers, the multiversal Avengers, whatever. It's
don't
not King
be
Dynasty,
like The Rock. Don't do that. I just want to say Superman. All right, bro.
No. I don't. Yeah, I want to see him being. I think he's earned it. I think he deserves to be in one Avengers movie. Put him amongst the crowd, man.
He was usually the best part of the X-Men movies and the Wolverine movies.
Yeah. And he's honestly, like, watching, I was like, he looks great. Yeah. He looks fucking jacked still. We get him sleeveless. Everyone was freaking out because his costume had sleeves. We get him sleeveless, and he looks great. He looks dope as shit, man. It's the best looking
Wolverine suit ever, for sure.
Yeah. It looks dope. The fucking bright ass yellow, the blue. Yeah.
I didn't think they're gonna be able to pull it off because those are some loud colors to be wearing in the normal world.
I wonder if they'll ever do like the mask, and if he would have like the white eyes like Deadpool does, because they did such a good job with Ryan Reynolds' mask.
Yeah, so. I think they're definitely going to do the mask, the white eyes. I hope they can pull it off, and I think they can.
It'd be weird if they just had his normal eyes. If he can,
it would be bad. It'd be the weird Batman thing.
You know, he was able to show expression and like do that. So I don't know. I would hope they could figure it out. But.
Yeah. I definitely think they could. I think that if they gone this far to put the costume on, I think they'll definitely put that mask on those eyes.
Interesting. I mean, that's good. Hey, bub.
Yeah.
I need one bub.
He's gonna be smoking a cigar and bub. Yeah.
Oh, please. That's all we need.
This might get into some spoilery stuff. So, listeners, if you don't want to hear anything that's in this trailer, but obviously, if you want to go in blind, go in blind. We see the villain. It looks like in this trailer. Bald lady. You guys want to know who that is? That looks to be Cassandra Nova, who is Professor X's twin that he killed in the womb.
Oh, shit.
That's crazy.
Apparently so. Roughly her origin is, he killed her in the womb, and she's a supervillain, but obviously with psychic powers, much like him. Seeming to be the villain in this.
Did he kill her in the womb, or did she die? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know.
Did they have a mental battle in the womb, and he was like, "You can't exist because I must succeed."
I don't know. I don't know. Well, it's like that thing. It was like, what? Sometimes don't they say like a twin? Sometimes one twin eats the other in the womb before you know you have twins or some shit. Do they do it out of? Yeah.
The connotation of saying "kill" makes it sound like he was in the womb, fucking boxing her.
So that's kind of interesting and fun. That's a fun villain to chuck in there that we haven't seen before, so that'll be cool.
Yeah, so I heard
like she has telekinesis, or
I thought she was Magneto coded.
It
could also be telekinesis instead.
Yeah,
maybe that was the red herring to make you think that, like, oh, it's Magneto, and it's like, actually, it's Professor X.
Yeah. Obviously, we see that most of this fight, or most of the fights in this movie take place in the void from Loki, which is the desolate world where all the TVA chucks all the multiversal elements that don't belong in there. Because we see the big cloud monster Goliath from Loki that they fight in the first season. We see that in this trailer. And so I would imagine they're going to have some kind of showdown with that thing or something. I don't know. So that's kind of cool. And then the last thing we see in this trailer are just a whole bunch of old X-Men. We fucking see Lady Deathstrike in there. We see Azazel from First Class in there. Pyro, which we saw in the last trailer, still there. I'm pretty sure we see Toad. Dude. And that's what I'm saying. Like, we could talk about this because I think they're still hiding so much shit. I think they're hiding so much shit
100%.
for this movie. Like, we see at the very end, there's a Doctor Strange portal. Who is it? Mm-hmm. Is it Ned from No Way Home?
Oh, that'd be funny.
Well, they're gonna have to explain because they're probably gonna pull him into the MCU world, right? Him and maybe Wolverine too. So,
yeah, absolutely. So I don't know, because like the whole thing is like, it seems like Deadpool's trying to save his world, because they talk about how this version of Wolverine failed his world. We don't know how or what, but also, apparently he failed his world.
And are they acknowledging that he did, in fact, at the end of Deadpool 2, like, change the timeline so that his girlfriend is alive again?
Absolutely, dude. I absolutely think so. I think that's why the TVA is going to show up, because they're like, you fucked with time. Your ass is fucked. Which is so funny to think about, because I doubt that when they wrote that second movie that they were thinking about entering the Marvel Universe and the TVA on this shit, which is just...
Absolutely not.
That's hilarious.
No, so it worked well at the right time, right? That was a happy accident, for sure. You think he's going to meet Spider-Man?
Oh, God, I would love it.
I don't know. I would love to.
That could be interesting.
If he did, it won't be Tom Holland. If he did, it'll be Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire.
So that could be funny. It could be a lot like the Flash, where he's like,
"Yeah,
who the fuck is that?"
Yeah, absolutely. Like it could. I could see them 1,000% doing that. Because I do remember at one point in, I think, the first X-Men from the 2000s X-Men, in the first one, there's a blooper because of when they're all standing around and a dude in a Spider-Man suit comes out and they have a good laugh, because I think originally they wanted Spider-Man in that movie. Oh, no. You know what it was? It might have been that, but they were going to film Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and as a cameo in one of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. I think it was the first one or the second one. I can't remember. But they were going to have Wolverine walking down the street at one point. So there is a connection there that they wanted to do that they might bring back around. I could absolutely see them doing that.
That would be cool. I mean, the thing is now, you know that it's going to be multiverse, so they can literally do anything they want. Like anything.
Yeah. I mean, we heard the rumors that fucking Jennifer Garner's Elektra, maybe Ben Affleck's Daredevil is going to show up just to be killed immediately, I would imagine.
That would be so funny.
I don't know, man. This movie, I'm so excited. Like, this is definitely like my movie of the year that I'm looking forward to. Happy birthday to me. The last thing, we see fucking Ant-Man's giant head as Homegirl's base of operations, which is, and it's not just a helmet. You see it pop up, and you see teeth. It's a head.
Yeah.
So that's hilarious. Yeah, this is just, and I know, like, I don't think it'll get to a point, because I think a lot of people are afraid of, is like it'll get too cameo city. Oh, this is just for nostalgia and fun shit like that. I think they'll do a good job with it, though. I think it'll be good.
Let's hope so.
And honestly, there's no such thing as too much of that, I think.
All right. Any other final thoughts on that Deadpool and Wolverine trailer?
I'm actually excited about
to see it.
Once again, making myself excited about a Marvel thing. This cannot go wrong. No way.
In any way whatsoever.
No way does it go wrong.
Ryan Reynolds, come on. You can't let us down.
Yeah.
You can't let us down. All right. A final trailer for the week. Transformers 1. Animated movie, which the first animated movie in like 40 years since that original one, I think, maybe.
Oh, shit.
Which was exciting on paper. And then after watching this trailer, I'm much less excited. Not gonna.
It's for children.
It's so disappointing, though. Did you guys ever watch Bumblebee?
Yes. Very good movie.
Do you remember the first 10 minutes of that where it's just they're all on Cybertron and they're escaping, and it's fucking the coolest part of that movie?
Yes.
I wanted that.
Yeah.
As soon as I heard they were gonna do a fucking Cybertron like origin, I was like, sweet. And then I watched this, like, why y'all change the animation to look like this?
Then I heard the voices, and it feels very much like they watched the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie and was like, we want that. Which, I mean, it's not going to be what you want, but there's still potential for it to be good. I'm hoping it's closer to Lego Movie and less close to Saturday morning cartoons. Some of those voices are a little, and some of the jokes are a little, so I'm like, they could.
Looks like it belongs on like Disney XD.
Yeah. Seems like something could be like on that channel. Like it seems like it might be a movie to go alongside of like a new TV show releasing on Disney XD or something like that.
Right.
And that could be why they made this animation change.
Right. So we'll see. I don't know. There's been a lot of good animated movies recently, so maybe this is the age. Maybe this one will still slap. But I am not excited by the trailer so far.
I'm just not crazy about Chris Hemsworth's voice as Optimus Prime, whatever you want to say. Brian Tyree Henry as Megatron, I kind of like, but again, it's very jokey. It's definitely more kid oriented than.
I was about to say, you like that? I was a little weird about his voice because I just know what's his face's voice so well in the actual movies.
I mean, I didn't mind it. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but I'm like, clearly when I saw what they're doing, I was like, oh, they're both supposed to be like children,
just some guys,
or whatever.
Yeah, like that just sounds like a black man. You know what I mean? Like that sounds like a black man. At what point does it become like the big scary, like, you know, I'm Megatron,
right,
whatever? And I get it. It's kid stuff. They gotta do some kid shit first.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to know like why they pick cars. There ain't no cars on fucking Cybertron. Why they pick cars?
Made me mad in so many of the Transformers things. So they do a little bit of that, in, like maybe the fourth one or something, whichever one had Mark Wahlberg in it, and they show Cybertron and actually show like the planet they came from, whatever. I don't know if it's called Cybertron, but they show the planet, and they're like, yeah, and then we learned to transform, and they all transform to cars. And it was like, Earth is not even in the same galaxy as this place. Where the fuck did you figure out what a Camaro looks like?
Right. It's so funny. Yeah. I don't know. I'm probably not gonna see it unless I hear it's like the coolest shit in the world. But I'm not gonna watch it.
That's fair. That seems like something to watch on a streaming service.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'll wait for that fucking Transformers G.I. Joe crossover they're gonna make.
Now that's gonna slap.
That's what we need.
Alrighty, that is the trailer park, which means that is the news, guys. Should I move into our main topic of the week?
Let's do it. Autobots roll out.
All right, guys, it is that time of the week. Time for our main topic. But in order to do that, we are trapped in yet again another fortress. This being a fortress we have been into before. It's full of many a sighs, many big sighs, many eye rolls, lots, all in slow mo. Yes, because listeners, we are in once again the fortress of
Rebel Moon.
Scargiver. That they really thought that should be the title.
Part 2 of Shocker. Not only 2 parts.
Bro, we'll talk
maybe
about
only 2 parts.
It might be. It's probably only going to be 2 parts.
They really wanted it to be more.
Yeah, listeners, we're in the fortress of Rebel Moon Part 2, the Scargiver, the second to I guess they would call it an epic. Zack Snyder's Netflix sci-fi Star Wars killer epic. We talked about the first one a couple of months back when it came out. All of us really did not like it. It was full of stereotypes and really bad pacing and really boring. Before we get into spoilers, we'll talk about the second one. I'll start off. I think this one's better than the first one. That's not saying a lot, but I do think this one's better than the first one. Only in the sense that
you get action.
I was about to say, like, at least this one wasn't as boring as the first one was.
Very easy bar to clear.
Like that first one, and this isn't a spoiler, so I can talk about this. After watching this one, I was like, yeah, these easily, 1,000% easily could have been one movie. There's no reason these two should have been split up, because that first one felt like the slowest hour and a half of my life, and I felt like nothing fucking happened. And you 1,000% could have crammed that, edited it much better, paced it much better, and made this one movie. And it might have been a better movie for in that way, you know. But boy, look, this movie is 90% action, which is fine, because I think whenever the characters talk is real boring.
It also, I feel like they were really going for Star Wars knockoff, because some of the dialogue is so choppy and weird. It's like, it gave shades of like George Lucas of like, have y'all ever had an interaction with a human being? Like some of the conversations are just so weird and like unnatural. Maybe that's what they were going for. Make it as Star Wars as possible.
I mean, yeah, it steals from a million things. It steals from Star Wars. It steals from Dune. It steals from Seven Samurai. It steals from everything, and just not as good. And it's disappointing, because I'll say like some of the action was good, but a lot of it was a little generic. And I was surprised, because I always feel like Zack Snyder is very good at directing and filming and doing a lot of the action stuff very well. And both of these movies, I just thought it was all kind of boring. It wasn't very super engaging. Like the big duel fights, the big one-on-one fights, blah, 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 weren't amazing. And maybe it's also because like I don't really care about most of these characters, because they're fucking caricatures.
But that's his job, is to make you care about the character.
Oh, I know. No, I know. And that's what I'm saying. Like, like even like, for example, like Sucker Punch, where you don't really care about most of those characters in that movie. Most of that action is like decent, from what I can remember.
Sucker Punch is underrated.
It's visually cool to look at. None of it in this, and maybe I just don't think. I think one thing that disappointed me was this was a chance to make a new Star Wars, a new awesome space epic universe, and the whole movie takes place on a fucking farm.
Hey, man.
I'm like, what the hell is this? This isn't space epic. What is this?
Netflix opened all the vaults for this one, and it still wasn't enough money, because they only got one vault, because Netflix doesn't have any money.
What the fuck? That was the most disappointing thing. I'm like, this could have been in Oklahoma for all I know.
Right. Well, it kind of feels like it sometimes, with the amount of farming that they do in slow motion.
He really wanted it to be Oklahoma, Nordic Oklahoma.
I'm just like, that's not the space epic that I thought he was creating, and I think that's why I was disappointed at. So
I gotta go on a tiny rant. Because of course I do. This movie reminds me. First of all, movies. This is 4 hours worth of content, by the way, that you have to spend your life on, which is crazy in itself. This movie reminds me a lot of like waiting months for like a reservation of like the fanciest restaurant in town, and you put on your best suit with your girlfriend, and you put on your jewelry, and you take a nice little ride, get the valet to go in there. You put your keys and be like, "Hey man, here's a tip of $20, whatever the fuck." You walk in that bitch, you sit down, you order your market price fucking fish, and then you open that silver platter, and what's on that silver platter? 10 McDonald's chicken piece nuggets. That is what this movie is that it's a really pretty nothing. And that pisses me off so bad, because it was like, it doesn't look bad, but what the fuck did I watch? It was nothing.
Hold on. Two things. First, are you calling McNuggets pretty? And second, you thought this movie was pretty?
The restaurant's pretty. I think that there's some really good looking stuff in there. I think the choreography is pretty ass, and I think the fields or whatever. Yeah. But I think some of the like CG was like, that doesn't look bad compared to like some of Halo show, which we watched most recently, and that shit looked actually ugly. I could actually show you where they didn't chroma key the characters out correctly, which is bad. And
I think the benefit that what adds to that is like, because I did watch that 30-minute little behind the scenes documentary they had on Netflix as well afterwards.
Damn, you wasted another 30 minutes after all that? That's crazy.
I know. Guys, I got COVID, so I had a lot of time.
That's right.
I think a lot of benefit is that Zack Snyder does, as much as he can, like to use a lot of practical stuff. I'll give him some props. They built that whole fucking farm. They built a fucking river. They built that fucking wheat field that I think, honestly, the amount of time that in this documentary that and in this movie that they showed off these fucking wheat fields, where I was just like, that. Well, it's because they built it by hand. They actually grew wheat and had to they waited to film until the wheat was at a proper, when they wanted it to look good. And they had to wait for wheat to grow. They were actually farm wheat. And I'm like, that money could have been spent somewhere else. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. I love the practicality, but goddamn.
Only Zack Snyder could put a slow-mo montage of grain harvesting.
Of grain harvesting. And it's a good 7-8 minutes.
Yeah, it's 8 minutes long. And he's slow-mo drinking water. And they're using these old tools. It's first of all, how do we not have one machine that can harvest this in the future?
That's what I'm saying. Space epic. What are we doing?
Are we getting into spoilers at this point? It feels like we probably are.
Yeah, let's. I see clearly. You guys know how we feel, but let's get into spoilers. Talk about it. Yeah.
Not that it matters. This movie doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Nothing matters in this movie. Yeah, I always had a weird thing about that when it comes to science movies that mix between science and yesteryear. Because Star Wars does the same thing, where it's why you're out here mining water or some dumb shit, but then you also have a droid that can fucking drive you.
That's exactly right. Star Wars, it feels remote, but there's always technology around in Star Wars. So on Luke's farm, right?
Right.
You can tell it's pretty desolate, but they still have little machines and stuff doing stuff for them, and there's technology that he has. Here, it's
I'm not gonna lie, those are the boring parts in Star Wars too.
Well, yeah, but it's but at least you can tell that they're part of the world, right?
Right.
Nowadays, right? If you went to a remote village, people have cell phones now, right? Or solar panels, whatever. So you can see elements of the modern world combined with the old one. But here, it's somehow y'all got to this moon, Velt, and then you just threw out all technology that got you there.
They're using the shit that we've had since the 15th century.
It's so archaic. It looks like he just had this idea of a medieval era farm has to be in this movie, and they literally have no modern technology whatsoever. Other than this, other than the stuff like the Empire brings and the little squad brings, but it's how'd y'all get here?
Which is funny because it seems like they have plenty of time to tell you how they did, but they choose not to. There's a lot of things where it's the use of time in this movie is actually really disrespectful, and that we wasted time. The part that makes me laugh is before the big fight, because of course this is the big battle section of the two movies, where the big portion about this is about the fight for. Who cares? Doesn't matter. But then they're before we go to battle, let's each tell all of our stories.
Oh my god!
And it gave me the same feeling of when you play an RPG that has a D&D campaign or something that has these characters you have to choose from. Yeah. And then you have to tell your little backstory to be I actually came from a farm back in the blah 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 blah. You should pick me because I'm a warrior. What the fuck was that?
That was I mean,
what the fuck was
mostly because I was every story was I was living my life, and then the Empire fucked me. I was living my life, and then the Empire fucked me. Yeah. I get it. We get it. We get
what y'all should know about me tomorrow. I won't retreat, and then I'm only going for revenge, and I'm gonna also not retreat, and I'm ready to die. And it's
it's all the same fucking story.
We already knew that. That's why we're in this situation in the first place. Because obviously we all got fucked by this Empire.
Also, maybe I blacked out for part of the first one. The one girl that was with the blood axes, I didn't remember her as a character at all.
I didn't. And
she was just with them. And at the start, I was there's the cool lady, the really cool lady with the sword arm, the blue swords and the
cyborg
red swords.
ninja.
I'm sorry, she has red swords and the metal arms. She's cool. The prince, and see how I'm calling them because you don't remember any of their names.
Nope.
But the prince with the no shirt, General Titus, and then Arthelaus, and her side guy. And then there was just that random girl with the blood axes. I guess she just tagged along with them. I don't know. Completely did not.
Who was that? Furiosa? Yeah.
Furiosa.
That's what I called her the whole time. I don't know her name.
She was just generic white lady to me. But
we had the black guy that's in every Guardians of the Galaxy movie and any other fantasy movie. And then we had
honestly, he's probably the best part of the movie.
As always,
we need to put some respect on his name. What is his actual name? Because
Jaimin Hansu. Jaimin Hansu.
He is a great actor. Deserves
Great.
respect.
That man has not aged in
he looks
40
exactly
years.
the same. It's so funny to me.
He looks great.
His little song, actually, that was a cool moment. That was a cool part where he starts singing a song. Didn't really know why it was happening, but it was cool.
And that's what I mean when I talk about the things look good. There's a lot of cool stuff there. It was almost like you took out all your action figures and you were playing with them. Like, these action figures are cool, but none of them connect to each other. Goku fighting fucking Master Chief doesn't really make much sense in this situation. But that's kind of what we were doing. That it was just like, yeah, this girl, she's just had a bad past that she has robot arms. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
What does that have to do with the fucking movie at all? I don't really understand. Like, but they just kept doing that. They kept placing cool things in random spaces and being like, yeah, this is cool, right? Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
Why is it here?
I will agree with Devin on one thing. Like, there were a few moments, and one of them for me that I genuinely was like, that was a genuinely good moment of characterness. Where I was like, I feel like these characters knew each other and like appreciated it. And one of them was when they reveal that fucking Jaimin Hansu's Titus character isn't actually drinking alcohol. He's just drinking water, and he's just been doing that to save water for the rest of the people or something like that. And they go to it, and homeboy, the fucking Beast Warrior guy, who he never came back into this movie. He never tamed an animal and flew on a griffin or nothing. His power was never used again in this movie. It's fucking dumb. Anyways, so when he goes up to him and he drinks it, and he's like, "Oh, it's actually water," and they have like a little bit of like a buddy duo thing going on. Yeah. That was the actual moment where I was like, do more of that. No, that was the only moment of character of this whole fucking movie.
They needed more of that for sure.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of what we could talk about before we actually get into the 90% of fighting in this movie. I don't know. Korra? Let's talk about Korra.
What about her?
There was not a doubt in my mind that princess wasn't dead when she shoots her. I was like, well, there's a weird magical glow. I was like, clearly something happened there.
Wait.
Like,
if we're going to talk about that scene, then we just need to talk about that scene, because like that was the craziest. Like, there's an orchestra playing live music as the Ides of March is happening. Like, what?
It was like the Game of Thrones thing.
And there were about 30 witnesses in there that would know that, like, this is clearly the word would get out that she did not kill them. Like, this is the Ides of March. Like, you could tell he just really wanted to do that in space. But the fact that there was like these faceless people orchestra was so jarring to me in the background. Like, you brought them in to do your Ides of March.
Yeah.
And like play music that fits what's happening. They're like, what's he gonna do? Like, you know, like with the violin.
They've got the score in front of them, Devin. They know they've got the plot and the script, and they know the music that's coming out.
True.
No, that scene to me was the worst looking scene in the movie. Like the amount of like fake beards and just like the costumes. I don't know if it was the coloring of it. It looked really bad.
I thought it was a play. Like, I almost thought that it was supposed to be artistic, something they were trying to do artistically. Bad. Because I was like, this reads really wrong. Because, like, it looked really bad. The music was playing really awkwardly. Everyone was yelling at each other while nobody was moving anywhere. Yeah. And that was really pissing me off. Like, no one's trying to stop you, but everyone's yelling at you to stop. What is happening here? I don't know. I hated that scene with all of my being. And then she has the audacity to cry and then shoot 8 more people. After doing that, once again, still no one stops her. All right, cool, whatever, fucking cool.
She just left.
She just
walks out of the room.
She literally started walking and only started running because she got adrenaline from shooting 8 more people while she was walking.
But I'm just like, there were so many witnesses in there. It's like not a single one would get the word out that like no Belisarius.
They were all in on it,
First
man.
of all, reminder from the first part, Belisarius was a real Roman general, and he just was really lazy with that name change. But anyway. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah. It was just very weird to me. There's like, okay, you're clearly going to have a ton of witnesses to this like coup.
And then shooting the little girl, like you said, you obviously saw the little magic thing happen or whatnot. So I thought that was going to get solved right then and there. I thought they were going to be like, she's actually magic or some shit like that. Or even better yet, maybe do a thing where like you shoot her and then you look over and then you just, instead of showing the girl at all, you show the look on her face of like seeing that something happened. I don't know. There's so many other ways you could have done that. To be like, oh, I'm living a lie this whole time because she was. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know why they did it that way. It was fucking stupid. Every decision they made in this movie was fucking stupid. But that one was really bad to me.
Yeah. Terrible scene, I thought. But
what have you done? You told me to do it. What do you mean? What have I done?
She's our hero, but she legit still shot a child in the face.
She did shoot a child.
I won't hesitate.
She still did. Even if she felt bad about it, she still shot a child. That's our hero.
I guess to your point, Brian, like the blocking was so weird that like he's still holding the king's body with his knife in him, and he's like, "What did you do, Korra? What did you do?"
I don't know.
He like
what are you doing, bro? Why'd you do that?
Literally, you're still stabbing. You're in the act of stabbing the king as we speak. Like,
The king's still alive. The king's still, his eyes are still open.
Body first. I mean, damn. Like, at least actually frame me somehow.
That's a funny thing too. Is the king's watching it too, and he's like, "Yeah, fucking bro, what'd you do?" And it's like, "I don't know, bro. You're currently being stabbed. What do you mean?"
He was still alive. Yeah, the king was still alive for the longest time. He was still alive.
That's why I was like, this feels like a play. It feels like a play. I don't know.
It did, man. Like, at least frame her or something, or have her like blow up their shuttle or something where it's like intentional. But the fact that like all of them, it was just stab the fuck out of the king and
really
queen,
weird.
and then they're like, oh yeah, we'll blame her. It's like, what? Like,
and what also made it feel so like bad and like fake was it all took place in this like 6 by 6 foot box of a room and nothing else.
Like
it was just really weird. It was really weird. Like that's what I was like, shit. Exactly. We're like, we don't have the budget for another big grand hall or anything, so this is all we got, guys.
Yeah,
this is it.
Very weird.
All the money went towards the wheat field. Sorry.
Right. Fucking.
Yeah. We got to pay the actual farmers for that wheat field. Also, are their ships like alive or something? Because I thought that was really weird too. Of like,
yeah, we got a little Mass Effect 2
that was kind of weird
towards the end. Yeah, there, which I thought that was supposed to be a bigger moment. And then there was another thing that kind of just was like, oh, okay, we're just leaving it there.
And we're just gonna not.
She saw the face and she walked away, and that was the end. I was like,
so Imperial Dreadnoughts, maybe alive, maybe not. We don't know. But yeah,
I thought it was gonna be a Reaper situation from like Mass Effect or something, and then it was like, no, it's just a face. I thought it was her face because it kind of looked like her. And I
thought it was gonna be like an AI, like there's an AI
in the ship or something. Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah,
but see, again. Would have been nice to have that explained.
Maybe if we didn't have 8 minutes in the wheat field, we could have had a couple minutes to explain that. Oh, well.
Or we could have cut a lot of the slow-mo down to normal speed.
Yeah, I mean, if that would have been normal speed every single time someone shot a gun, then maybe we'd fucking could have saved 30 minutes. Yeah, fucking.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, much like the first one. Like I don't fully have a hate for all the slow-mo he does. I think like some of the instances, like 300 is cool. Some of the Batman stuff is cool. Like this one, I just think. And most of the slow-mo was like, it just wasn't, like, nothing cool was happening. It didn't look very cool. Like,
we have to stop giving these, like, directors and, like, visionaries props and flowers for some of the shit that they do. Because this is corny as hell. Like, if you were actually going to school for film, this would be, like, the first no-no they tell you. They'd be like, that's fucking lame. That looks bad. Yeah. Well, no, and then this man just sits here and goes, slow-mo. No one, make that slow-mo. Keep it making it slow-mo. Yeah. Whole fucking, I don't know, Adobe Premiere project is just fully slow-mo. Fully 1.75 speed for no reason. Shit's bad, dude. Shit's bad.
You know why he does it? You know why he does it? Yeah. He's never stopped. It's because in 300, it was fucking sick. Like,
and that's cool. Awesome. When you kick someone in slow motion, that's cool. Yeah. I don't want to see someone slow-mo cut a field. That is the dumbest shit ever. Exactly. Or slow-mo shoot a gun.
The thing is...
Yeah, it's just not very cool.
Yeah, I think he's definitely surrounded by too many yes men. They're just like, yeah, sure, you can slow-mo this, I guess.
God, I hate when artists get so up their own ass. But and that was feel like Zack Snyder's doing right now.
Man, in 300, it was so cool.
And that's the thing that I'm disappointed is most of his movies, if you go back, he's a phenomenal... like
cinematography.
Photography. Like he's a great cinematographer. He knows how to make a beautiful shot. I don't know what happened with these two movies.
The thing is, he got so into making beautiful shots is that he forgot that he actually had to write a script.
Well, they weren't even that beautiful in this movie. That's the thing. I was like, none of this shit was all that cool.
When we said the CGI was good, like there is some stuff that looks good, but for me, it's just very generic. Like
yes,
some of it's still very Netflixy.
The armor is very generic. Like a lot of the stuff, you can just tell he's just like there were some cool things, right? But like for the most part, it's just like it's very mid.
No, I mean from like a technical standpoint, like it looks good. It looks decent. Like it looks like it was well accomplished. But from like an artistic standpoint, I agree with you 100%. I think it's boring. Everything about this movie just feels generic. And that's
I would say the one cool thing about this movie that I like, or two things. I do like the laser swords. I like they're little. It almost seems like they're a little hotter than lightsabers because of how they're almost like a little messier.
Couldn't touch it.
It's a little messier. Yeah, and I like. I do like the guns in terms of it looks like they're shooting like lava almost.
Yeah, like lead,
it's like
molten metal or something.
Yeah. I do like that. I think that's a cool change because there's like splatter sometimes, and so I think that's a very cool, interesting thing. It's not just like a laser beam or like a blaster type of situation. So I think that's cool. True. But yeah, all the rest of the stuff is just like meh.
I mean, like think about the things that they could have done, like in that flashback with the prince, right? his like Griffin armies were like fighting the fighters. How cool would that have been to see like a squad of them come in?
Sure.
And like fight.
Yeah.
At
Give
end
the
there.
man
Like,
a griffin to ride on. Why introduce this dude with powerful bird powers or whatever? He's the animal whisperer, and not have an animal for him to conjure or some shit. Like,
He's
what was they saving that
like
for the fourth movie? What are we doing?
It's like they forgot.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah.
It does kind of feel like that, yeah.
Yeah, so that sucked. Quick moment. Let's talk about Cyborg Ninja Nemesis, whose choreography I thought was honestly, I feel bad. She deserved better. I think she deserved better choreography.
Of all the people to kill, they keep generic white girl alive, and nobody else dies.
And they get rid of the Cyborg Ninja. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. They killed the side piece guy too. The guy.
The side piece guy.
Oh yeah.
They killed the guy from Age of Adeline. But like. But like,
what a reference!
They killed the coolest person, and they killed her first, and she barely took out anybody with her. She took out like what 4 people?
It was pretty lame.
I was so mad, dude.
You cut off your hands to be a super cybernetic ninja, and then you just die to 4 fucking dudes to some guys.
Yeah, I don't know. So cool.
And that was the thing where I talk about with the choreography, where it's like the choreography might have been decent, but it was hard to tell because it was so slow motion that it wasn't interesting to look at.
And
it made it look like she wasn't good at this.
You're telling me after she literally fought the human embodiment of Shelob the spider in the first one, that was like a much tougher fight.
Yeah.
And here she can't take on 4 squad dudes.
4 dudes.
I mean, fucking hell, man.
They're not even named. They don't have a name. It wasn't even like, I'm the commander, blah, 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 blah. They're just some guys.
That was character assassination, man. That was
bad.
Disrespectful to that character.
Yeah.
I'm so mad about that. And then I was like, okay, generic girl who said she wanted to die lived? I'm pissed.
Yeah.
I'm pissed.
Pretty bad. That was pretty bad.
So
pretty weak. I'm not a fan of that. What I am a fan of, granted, I was like, and they had only one scene of coolness, and I wish there was more. We finally got to see Jimmy the robot kick some ass. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was one of the few highlights of the movie. I was like, he's just taking these shots because he's a robot and can't die, apparently. But when he pops into the tank and just drops a grenade and dips out, I was like, all right, I'm in for it. That moment, look, this was the moment of coolness and actual like cinematography. The moment where Jimmy is just standing there with his fucking cape flowing and the dust around him, and he just goes to. I was like, that was dope. I don't give a fuck. That was cool as shit looking.
It was cool. It was very cool.
I love to see a cape flowing. That's one of my top 5 favorite things in movies.
Oh, you and Zack Snyder feel the same about that. If you didn't know.
I'll watch a 2-hour movie of just a cape
just
flowing.
A cape flowing. Really, and really big screen, 4x3, black and white.
Hey, so if they do make a third one, what do you think the odds are that they actually can get Anthony Hopkins back?
Anthony Hopkins back? Man, he'll do any. He's just sitting in a box saying lines. He'll do it.
It's very easy money for him.
He'll do it.
Very easy money.
He's not walking on a single set.
Yeah, not a chance.
That's funny.
I think it was very funny though. Yeah, that every time it's like, oh yeah, that's Anthony Hopkins, Oscar winner Anthony Hopkins being a robot.
Anthony Hopkins.
Which another really cool character design.
Yeah,
useless.
Yeah,
not for much use, but it looks awesome. Yeah. Would love a toy of him.
Also, I'm like, Jimmy, you saw these motherfuckers getting their absolute ass kicked for like 30 minutes. Yeah. Half of the people are dead, and he's like, now's my time.
You have to make an entrance. You have to make an entrance. Right? Yeah. A literal children were getting slaughtered.
I just want to see if they'd win, and then I was like, they're not gonna win. I'm gonna go.
Shit, I gotta interfere.
Yeah, what was he doing for like the first 20 minutes of that battle?
Just chilling, just watching.
He was thinking of one-liners.
Yeah.
That was cool. Homeboy villain, Atticus, not in this movie a whole lot. He was definitely better in the first one, obviously, because he had more to do. He was way more. He ended up being way more generic in this movie than in the last one because he had wings. Pretty bad. Also, his whole he's indestructible went nowhere. She kicked the shit out of him.
She killed him pretty quickly.
He got pretty destructible.
I also love how they were made very obvious point to be like, to explain, like, okay, they can't just shoot the village because of the grain. They're like, well, look, they stacked it up on every building, so we can't shoot at all the buildings. And then they just blow up every single building in the village anyway.
I like that plan at first. I was like, that was kind of smart. And then they're like, yeah.
But instead of doing with the orbital cannon, on the ship, they just do it with tanks and like the gunships instead.
Right,
it's like, we'll just blow up some of it. Like,
I did like the villain's little like one-shot run where he went down to the trenches This little
that was cool.
Superman pose when he fell down, and he just beat the shit out of all these poor people, all these middle-aged adults.
So bad for them.
These fucking farmers. He's just like one shot of them, snapping their necks.
Poor farmers.
That, and I did like he didn't have much, but that the other the big burly farmer guy who dies, who the villain killed.
He was taking some names,
he had a cool
man.
moment. That was pretty. Yeah. He had a cool moment sitting in them trenches for a moment. I was like, that dude was cool. I'm actually bummed he died.
He was the only character that I was actually sad that he died, to be honest. I was like, shit.
Yeah.
I thought he had this.
He goes out bad.
You had to know
he gets flown out the. Yeah, when he went after him, and I was like, don't do it.
Yeah,
bro. You know this guy died before. He's not. What are you doing?
But he killed Yellow Jacket, so he wanted to get after him.
They showed him plop to the ground. That was crazy. They didn't have to do that.
They followed him the whole way down.
They didn't have to do that.
They did. He should have been a red mist.
You would think that would be a moment for like a slow mo, just like cut away with the body falling. But nope, they're just gonna follow it all the way down. You're kind of like, how far is it? Like, is it gonna hit? Like, oh dang, he's still going. Oh, okay, now it hit. Like
that shit was funny.
Another one of my favorite moments of like just not making any sense was right before Titus and all he rallies all the villagers with like a cool speech before they charge out of the barn or whatever. But I'm like, bro, they're right outside. You're saying the speech so loud. They know where you are now. They're gonna shoot you. I was like, why are you screaming this speech? You should have just charged out there. What are you doing?
Or also like, we have guns. Just stay in the barn and use cover.
Yeah.
Like it was really just so Titus and Prince guy could just go hand to hand, and everybody else is just like, do what you want behind us, I guess. He suplexed like 3 people in a row, and like he was wide open trying to be fired. He was just picking up guys and throwing them on the ground, and then picking them up again, putting them over his shoulder. He did it like 3-4 times in a row, and did not die. Oh, and shut up! Give me his name one more time. Titus.
Jaimin Hansu.
I didn't hear it.
Jaimin Hansu.
Jaimin Hansu. Shout out to Jaimin Hansu, who got Spartan kicked in 300. But here, Spartan kicked somebody off the bridge in slow-mo. Like, I think he got one of the Empire guys, but he literally Spartan kicked him off the bridge. And I was like, good for you. It's good to be on the other end of it.
I don't want to be the one to do this, but that is not that black guy in 300 that gets Spartan kicked.
No, it is.
That's him. Not him.
Look it up. Look it up right now. I swear to you, it's
I'm going to do it right now. It's not him.
Oh, fuck, you're right. God damn, sorry, shit.
Who's he thinking of? I'm trying to think of who that guy is.
Damn,
I don't remember. It's not him, though.
Oh my God, you're right. Who is that? Who's the guy I'm thinking of?
I don't know. I don't remember. I just know it's not him.
Oh, no. I really thought I had I thought I had a good take with that one. Oh, shit.
We're keeping it in, baby.
Keep it in. We'll just let this be. Devin had a bad moment in his brain. He's a little under the weather. He wasn't thinking straight. It's all right.
Yeah. Sorry, everybody. Incorrect.
Man, what else? I don't even. Yeah, I just wrote. Oh yeah, of course, the princess is in another castle. They talk about at the end because she's not dead. And now, oh yeah, this movie ends. Well, she kills Atticus. Obviously, they win. They blah blah blah. Yay. And now the next goal is to find the princess and fight the Empire or the Imperium, whatever. Who cares? Yeah. This leads to a question, guys. Me and Brian already said it, but I honestly, I could see them making at least a third one, but no more. I could see them being like, give them one more and that's it. But I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Yeah.
When did this?
No, absolutely not.
What was the day the second one came out? Because it currently on Rotten Tomatoes has a
like
15%.
Oh God!
It came out like 5 days ago.
that is a very low rating.
That's real bad.
That is atrociously low rating. I don't think it's that bad personally, but with seeing things like that and numbers going like that, I'd love to see what the watch numbers end up being. Like, they're always opaque for that kind of stuff. To see if people even care about Rebel Moon. Because to be honest, had y'all not brought it up, I probably wouldn't have taken the time to see it. Because I didn't. I wasn't paying attention to it.
I honestly, I probably would have watched it just to the completion, just to see how if it could have been better. But other than that, I don't think they're gonna get any of those. Like he's talking about, like it's in his head, he's got like 4 to 6 movies planned. Yeah. There's like a video. I don't think we're getting any of that shit.
Sorry, Bucko. you missed out on that one.
It just.
I don't think we're getting no TV spinoffs. No, I don't think we're getting any of that.
But it makes me think of like kind of one of my questions with this universe, right? Is like, are the Empire bad? Like, are they all bad? Because there's moments where they like very much humanize people within the Empire, right? Like, you know, like the young private and stuff like that. And obviously the Empire of warmongering is bad, but like, it seems like they're leaving space for them to not, like, I guess if the princess took power, right? Like they could stop the war and kind of be more peaceful. But like, it was just funny to me, like when her whole infiltration plan was about, like they get up there with the, you know, disguised gunship. And then she just slaughters a medical team. Like these people are doctors. Like they just kill them all like ruthlessly. Like I don't think they were the problem. Like, they were just trying to save your life.
You're right.
Like, so it's just funny because it's like, okay, we're slaughtering them by the, you know, dozens down below on the surface, but it's like, well, they're just people at the end of the day. Like, I don't know.
Right.
Something Star Wars did a better job with.
Right. No, I think one of my favorite parts of showing the Empire being the absolute worst villains was in Titus's flashback, where he's like, "I did something during this battle, and I had to surrender, but I asked the Empire to spare my men, and their way of execution is absolutely obliterating them from a laser from space
in front of his face."
Yeah.
Just like he's like 6 feet away, and they just obliterate them like a fucking atomic bomb. I was like, oh my God, that is such overkill. Holy shit.
Didn't they have like their guys like guarding them? Like other guys around them guarding them? They get blown up too.
He said they executed my men. I was like, executed isn't the word I would have chosen for what just happened to those men. Obliterated them. Annihilated them. Yes.
It's like that scene in fucking it's like this low setting in Rogue One where they show like the Death Star doesn't have to be at full capacity when it's just like got one reactor going. It just kind of nukes a tiny city of a planet in Rogue One. That's basically what they did to those like 30 men.
Definition of overkill.
It's not supposed to be funny, but it is because it's so intense for no reason.
Ridiculous.
And he's just telling you a random ass story. He's like, oh, all right, man.
He's just on his knees like, no. Oh man, it was ridiculous. I don't really have much more to say. The villagers each gave them a nice little towelette. You know, they all got their own little towel, little tea towel. That was cute. Lots of montages. I think I was just like very disappointed again that this whole movie was just Act 3. We're montaging protecting a village, and then we're gonna protect a village, and that's it. And that's the whole fucking movie.
And that somehow managed to be 2 hours 3 minutes.
That whole fucking. I was like, God, what the fuck?
Which, like, logically, aren't they just gonna come back with 2 dreadnoughts next time and just nuke them from space?
I don't understand. I really don't know. Yeah. I never understood this plan to begin with. I was like, is there hope that the Empire would be so lazy and be like, nah, we'll leave them alone. Fuck it. Like, is that the idea? Like, I don't understand at all.
Well, now they're gonna take the battle.
I guess so, because like at the beginning of this movie, they don't expect the Empire to be back for they're coming in 5 days and Homeboy is alive still. They didn't expect that, so I guess that was their plan, that they would just be like they'd be too lazy to go back.
That one scene
that
where
is
she comes in,
terrible
like,
plan.
I do believe the Empire will not come back, and I killed Atticus, and then the private runs in, he's like immediately like, you're wrong.
He's alive.
You're wrong about everything you said.
They're like, yeah, he's dead. Let's go. He's not dead. Fuck. It all happened so quickly.
It's basically exactly like that. Like,
yeah. Oh man. Also, for a second, I was waiting to see if that Homeboy would be like a triple agent or some shit, but no, he's just
he was crushing on that.
He fell in love with a farmer. Yeah,
he loved too. I thought they'd do something.
Yeah,
like
they had a real awkward kiss at the end of the movie. Yeah, no, he survived.
Didn't kill him. I also love how like he's giving them reports, like he's talking to the people on the Empire ship, and they're like, "Yeah, he definitely killed our whole squad, and he's like defected." And they're like, "Yeah, he definitely defected." Like the fact that nobody else is ever on screen is pretty good indication of that. Like how would he even like play that off of like, "Oh, I'm still here and I'm still loyal. Like it's okay. The villagers are doing exactly what we told them to do." Like,
Oh, it's so funny.
Just so many things like that were just so weak. But I don't know. Okay, one issue I had with the last fight, right?
Oh, just one.
If you really want to do a Star Wars thing, right? And they had the fighters. They brought in the fighters, like the Blood Axe sister came in. We could have used it like 20 minutes ago. Instead, they come in at the end when the ship is already destroyed. It's like, so we didn't get a cool, like they could have done like a cool fighter, coming together. You always got to have.
They could have done a big space. Yes, yeah. They just made. Do you guys remember that movie Cowboys and Aliens from like a decade ago?
Yes.
This is what this reminded me of. It's just funny. A bunch of farmers fighting a bunch of space aliens. They're not aliens, but that's all it was. That's all it fucking was.
The Cowboys and Aliens was cooler because they used like sticks of dynamite to blow up alien technology, which is wild.
It was cooler. That's my problem, is that this movie wasn't as cool as Cowboys and Aliens.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
That's not very high bar to clear.
Yeah, just generic, generic. Could have been better. I think if it had come out in like 2007, like right after 300, maybe we would have loved it a lot more. But it's 2024, so no excuse.
I'll watch the third one. All right. Yeah. I mean, anyone else have any final thoughts? I think I'm all Rebel Mooned out.
I wasted 4 hours of my life, I feel like.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Brian. It's okay. Brian, but just think, you could maybe it'll redeem itself in the director's cut that Netflix is apparently and it's gonna be even longer, guys, and probably gorier. You might see her actually chop his head off this time. Who knows?
Oh, great. Yeah, things I don't need. I already watched a 4-hour cut of Justice League. I don't need.
Yeah. I'm not watching them. I'm not watching
it was better than Madam Web. Another movie. Better than Madam Web.
Again, look, we can say that it was better than Madam Web.
Does it clear the Madam Web bar?
Yes.
That's the new bar. Yes. That is absolutely the new bar.
Oh, it shouldn't be.
Absolutely.
That bar's way
Is
too
it
low.
better than Madam Web?
But maybe not as good as the Halo show. I cared a little bit more about it.
Honestly, I would give it an edge. I would give it the edge because it's like 7 hours shorter.
That's fair. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, that's fun. That's Rebel Moon Part 2.
Justice for my girl Nemesis, man. She got done dirty.
Yeah, that was rough. But she's a cyborg. Maybe they'll bring her back. Who knows?
I think
if they make a movie again, if they make a third movie.
But now that we know that grain was real, I think honestly, seeing how grain is like processed
He's stuck
and
on the grain
might be the most useful thing to see in this movie. Like I didn't know how they use the flail. I didn't know that is actually what it's for, to beat the grain out. I guess beat it off the stalks.
This movie's educational.
They were really
see, they don't have a space flail. Like what the fuck? Oh wait, I have to point out one of my favorite parts is seeing the horses that have weirdly big heads. The space horses they have in this world have just kind of like 0.5 size or 1.5 size heads. They're just like a little bit bigger than a normal horse.
It's like, okay, we tried hard with that one. Got you.
You didn't change the color.
I was trying to figure out what part they CG'd and what parts were real on those horses, because they were definitely just horses.
They CG'd the head. I remember in the behind the scenes, they have the like the green suits they put on people for motion capture. They put green masks on the horse heads.
Oh wow! I didn't wonder about
like
that.
Eye holes in the nose. They legit put green things on the horse heads, and it looked really goofy. But Rebel Moon, there it is. Man, go watch Dune Part 2. I wasn't even that crazy about it. I love that movie, but man, watch Dune Part 2. That's a way better.
Don't waste your
time. Next time, Zach, we'll see whatever crazy thing you come up with next. All right, guys, with that, shall we now move into our final segment of the week?
Yeah.
Which we like to call Free for All, title pending. This is a segment, listeners, where we can kind of do whatever we want. We can talk about our day, talk about life, fight, rant, nap. It is free for all. Who would like to go first?
I can go first. Well, maybe I shouldn't go first.
Right.
Maybe Devin should go first.
Devin, I know you got something exciting to talk about for us.
Sure, I can go first then, I guess. I recently just got back from a trip to the UK where some important life events happened.
Right.
But more important than that, okay?
What?
Anyways.
What I really wanted to mention was I had the privilege of seeing Hamilton in London and on our last night there. And I was just so blown away by how incredible it was. Not just like the whole time I was watching it, Oscar, I was really just thinking about you, because like the actors are so like they were so good. First of all, a lot of them I liked more than the original cast that's on like Disney Plus. And to be fair, like I didn't see that live, so it's tough to compare. Right. But like the guy who played Lafayette and Jefferson in London was phenomenal, and I mean they all like they were all so good. But I mean like just so impressive. The choreography, the amount of words they have to remember, like the amount of lyrics that there are, because it's basically nonstop the whole time. And then everybody, even the background people, they're doing so much in the background the entire time. I mean, it's more intricate. Like I did, plays in high school, and that was tough for me. But like, I mean, it's a high level. It's got to be like the most impressive and like toughest thing to memorize, right? Because there's just so much to do.
Yeah, like you said, like there's basically very few scenes of dialogue in the entire show. Like if you listen to the soundtrack, in essence, you're listening to the entirety of the show. There's some secrets, particularly one secret that they kept for actually seeing it live. That's not on the soundtrack, but everything else is basically there, which is crazy and ridiculous. But yeah, it's nuts. But like when me and you were talking about this off the podcast, I actually find it easier to memorize music just because you can't really improvise it. It's fact. It's that. And so and you can, and then there's a rhythm to it. So I think personally, I find that a lot easier than memorizing lines and of dialogue and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's definitely a feat of energy and just like, especially when you think about that they do those things, at least on Broadway, probably in London as well. They do like 8 shows a week.
That's insane.
That is insane.
Just on a loop. On a loop. They do 8 shows a week. They get Mondays off, at least on Broadway, they get Mondays off, and then 8 shows a week. It's ridiculous.
Holy crap. That was the craziest thing about it. It's just, we were wondering, it was like a Monday that we saw it, and it was like, how often do they do this? Like, I mean, it's just, I've never seen something so intricate. And also the way they did it is so clever. I think having that like rotating outer shell where you could also have stuff in the center, so good. Mm-hmm. Like, so you can do so many creative, clever things with that. And then the way they did bullets was really cool. Like just having like a person kind of be the bullet as it's going, or like the slow-mo scenes where they're all like dancing, like there's a lot of flurry going on, and then they just all like go real slow motion. Like
the dancing is so fucking good in that show. It's so incredible to watch.
Well, listen, Lin-Manuel Miranda is an absolute genius. Like I'm just blown away by.
It's kind of nuts. It's a feat to make one like Broadway hit. Listeners, if you don't know, he wrote a show called In the Heights that was more underrated than obviously Hamilton because that took over the world, but like on paper was a huge hit, and then come back with something even better. Some would say even better, definitely better worldwide, like marketing wise, it made more money and stuff. Yeah, but like it's just nuts. It's crazy.
He's got like the hip hop like rapping dialogue. Down, like he's just perfected it. Like, because you're having conversations in this like style. I had never seen the second part before. I think I'd seen the first half on Disney Plus, but I'd never seen the second half. Man, I loved the rap battle between Thomas Jefferson and Hamilton.
So you watched the fun half and then you watched the sad half. That's actually live.
But man, the rap battles between Jefferson and Hamilton were so good. That was so clever. Like, I don't know, just everything from start to finish is so good.
I pointed out when you first told me, I think it's hilarious that you watched it in London. Right. That show in particular.
Listen, there was
how was the vibe in that theater, Devin?
They were two pissed. Ladies beside us. There were 2 older ladies beside us that were American that lived in New York. So they were just like, we could never see it over there. And then there were 2 people beside me that were British. Very old, and they were pretty quiet most of the show. So.
They said, "This isn't what I learned in my school."
There's a couple songs where they just like point out how dumb and hilarious their king is.
Dude, oh my god, the king was. There were a few cast members that were better than the original cast, in my opinion, and the king was one of them. He had these like little things he would do, like little additions, like little flares, like just little things he would do with his hands or like his eyes and stuff. That like. And he kind of wanted the crowd to like interact with him a little bit. So like we would be laughing and he'd, egg it on kind of, but he was uniquely special.
That's cool.
So anyway, very, very cool experience. Would love to see it again live someday.
Nice. That's super.
Yeah, man. Enter those lotteries whenever you can.
Yeah. Just go back to London and see it there. It'll be cheaper there.
Also,
to take
or
the trip,
that,
get
or
the
that.
plane.
The plane ticket will probably cost more, but you'll be cheaper to see the show.
That's funny.
No, that's sick, man. I'm so happy. That's so cool. I think as many people as possible should see that show, if you can. Like it's just a spectacle to be seen live. It's very cool.
Yeah,
nice.
Absolutely.
Well, I can go next. I didn't do something nearly as cool as that. Fucking God. But I've been playing a video game recently. I've been playing a game made by the people that made what you guys might know is Until Dawn. I've been playing The Quarry. I can't remember the name of the studio, but it's people that make like the Mind of Medan games and things like that. Basically like to make games that are typically horror story adjacent, where you get to play multiple characters and it's kind of like a quick time event, discovery sort of game that kind of tells a tale around, I don't know. They like a slasher film kind of stuff, mainly. This one that I've been playing is based on a bunch of kids going to a summer camp as camp counselors. I think they're probably in like their maybe 18, 19. They're about to go to college, I believe, most of them. And it's basically about them getting trapped in a cabin with David Arquette, randomly, is a character in this. You got David Arquette. You got,
that's funny.
What's the actor's name? Justice Smith, maybe? Justice something. He was the main character in Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
You got him. You got a bunch of people. There's a bunch of, they like to use famous actors a lot in these kinds of games. But I love these games because one of the big things about them, of course, they make all the characters so unlikable that makes it really fun if you want to get them killed. Because basically the whole basis of the game is you play as these multiple characters at different times and different settings, and you can play kind of how you want. So either all your characters can die, all of them can live, or anything in between based on the decisions you make. It's a big decision making game. It also has a lot to do with whether or not you fail your little quick time events. You have things where you're running away from the killer or something like that, and you fall down. If you fall down because you miss your quick time event, you might get your ass eat. You might get shot in the head. Things like that happen. So I love stuff like that. So I've been enjoying it so far.
Can you go back if you want to save somebody, or is it like Heavy Rain where there's no going
So
back?
the whole thing is they do try to save often so that you can't really save scum it, so that you'll do have to like play it over again if you did want to get those things. But they will have there's a chapter select after you beat the game to make it easier to do that, so it doesn't completely fuck you. But this one in specific has to do with kind of like there's this weird stuff going on at the camp. There's this old family that used to live there, and no one knows what's kind of going on there. And you get kind of like this weird like prologue of like these two kids getting stranded, and you not knowing what's in the basement kind of situation. And then you see the camp counselors. But one thing that was interesting with that, how I've been playing, is I've been playing with my girlfriend as a kind of way to get her into some games as someone that doesn't really
fun.
play video games. Yeah, that's always a fun interaction with someone that like doesn't play video games but has been interested, has like seen them before, is to try to find the perfect games for them that aren't too stressful, but still have like a good enough or like are interesting enough to keep their attention. And I found this one to be kind of interesting so far. And what I like about it is when you play multiplayer, there's a couple of ways that you can play it. The way we're playing right now is we have to choose which of the 6 characters we each get to play as. So it kind of goes back and forth between different characters. So she picked all the women characters. I picked all the main characters. And we're basically going to see which ones of our characters are going to be alive at the end of this story.
That's funny.
And knowing her being new to gaming, there's a good chance that she's probably going to have less characters alive than I am. And I think that'll be a funny thing to say, because it gives you a little bit of like, not just agency, but like consequence of like, oh, I can't fuck this up. My people got to survive. You know what I mean? Like this matters to me. But there's also another way that you can play that's interesting with like, I think up to 8 people, that it's kind of like an audience mode, basically, where one person controls the character as they actually like move around. But when it comes to decisions, you vote essentially.
Oh shit!
Cool.
Oh no!
Cool.
Yes, you vote for it. So people vote for what decision they want to make. So whoever has the highest vote, of course, is going to win the situation. Right. And then also for the quick time events, everybody has a controller for the quick time events. And if it basically goes percentage wise, so if like 80% of people fail,
oh shit,
it will fail.
Damn.
Or like 60% of people pass it, then it will pass. So it's basically
That's
like
clever.
all your friends got to be on it. Or like you think you did it well, you're like, I got the quick time of it right, but then Oscar didn't. Right. We might be fucked because that means we have a 66% chance of passing it.
Do they show you after?
Do they show you who fucked up? Yeah,
I'm not sure.
They got to.
We haven't tried that mode yet, but I saw someone else play it. I can't remember if I actually should, but that would be funny. It shows like an X with like big O or something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
that would be so
That'd
funny.
Be funny.
But yeah, I do think that's an interesting. I've never seen a game do something like that before, so I kind of thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
That is cool. No, I like that. Yeah,
that's really I think they put it on PlayStation Plus Extra or whatever the fuck they call it now. It's been on sale recently, and also they just put it on Microsoft Game Pass. So
it's cool.
Gotcha.
Fun.
What's it called?
That's
again?
cool as shit, man.
The Quarry.
The Quarry.
Yeah. I liked Until Dawn. They're gonna be remastering that fairly soon. So if you haven't played that, maybe wait for that, and that'll be pretty cool.
It's a fun game.
Yeah.
Until Dawn, at least. Yeah.
I love a slasher flick, so this really satiates that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's cool shit, man. Nice. Love it. I could finish up very quickly. Just because guys, get this. I finished the entire OG run of the X-Men animated series, all 5 seasons.
Oh, the original.
Oh, God.
The original 90s X-Men series.
Jesus.
As you guys know, I was playing a lot of Final Fantasy, so on my iPad next to me was X-Men 97 playing a lot of the time when I was just sitting doing Final Fantasy stuff. So I caught most of it. Like there's definitely some stuff that I was like, what happened? It's fine, doesn't matter. But I got through the whole thing. As a person who I had never, obviously, like when as a kid, you don't watch every episode. It's impossible. You don't know when they're on. You don't know blah blah blah. So it was kind of cool going through it and seeing it, and especially with X-Men 97 running the way it's running, seeing the callbacks that they make that I probably wouldn't have gotten originally. I'll be honest. And so it was cool. It's not the best show in the world, you know. The best part of it is probably the theme song, which is why they keep that going around. It's the best. It's fucking best. But there were some cool highlights. Like they really go through a lot of these X-Men, these famous X-Men arcs. Like they do like Days of Future Past, the Dark Phoenix saga, the Apocalypse, the Cure. A lot of these things, they will do very quickly. Like some of the bigger things, like Days of Future Past, is I think maybe 2 episodes. The Phoenix saga I think was 5. So there's some things that they'll take more time with, but like there's some episodes that are just one-offs. But there's some fun surprises that I did not know was coming. Was in the last season there is a random episode. It's an origin, like a flashback of Wolverine story of him fighting in World War II, and fucking Captain America's in it. He just shows up, and it's just like a buddy episode with Captain America and Wolverine. I was like, that was kind of sick. That was a weird just one off there. And you never see Captain America ever again.
That's really random. Yeah.
So I was like, that's kind of cool. There's so a lot of fun stuff like that, but definitely the best. I think a really good background show where you'll just kind of catch glimpses, and there would be times where I was like, I'd have to pause the game. I was like, oh, this is actually kind of interesting. I was like, what's the fuck's going on with Apocalypse over here?
That's what I was going to ask. Is like, because I feel like 97 from what I've watched of it so far is like, holy shit! Like there's some good adult themes in there.
That's a show I can't background watch. I gotta just watch that.
You gotta lock in. Yeah, but so I mean, the original one was very much Saturday morning cartoon.
It's a little lighter.
Yes.
It's a little lighter. Yes. But they still have like some. Well, I mean, I guess X-Men just inherently has the themes of discrimination and stuff.
X-Men is very much a soap opera at times, but it definitely, yeah.
Did you watch the episode where Professor X made Magneto relive the World War II?
Dude, that is like the 3rd episode of this fucking whole show.
That's hilarious.
It's crazy. He has to stop Magneto, and he makes homeboy flashback to the fucking Holocaust.
Oh my
God. And Magneto's just like, no, and he's just screaming. I'm like, this is crazy.
That is, I can't believe they did that. That's some 90s ass shit if I ever heard of it.
I know, man, that's insane.
That's something you can only get away with in the 90s, because that is diabolical.
Oh my God.
Professor X is a villain for that.
Listen, man, Professor, that calls into question his entire integrity. Like, there's certain lines we don't cross, even with Magneto.
Also,
oh my God,
random aside is I did remember having, and this is another testament to how the 90s was very unsafe, and we've definitely gotten a lot better about safety for children. I remember having an Apocalypse toy that shot out like rockets or something out of his shoulders, but the rockets were made out of this metal that it was spring, but the spring was very long and metally. It was very weird. Basically, what it did is it would cut you if it hit you.
Oh shit!
I learned that the hard way, because I remember cutting up my hands playing with this toy and being so upset about it. So that my mom, she took out that little rockets, and I couldn't play with the rockets anymore. And that was I love that toy.
For the best.
I thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
Just 90s things. You remember when Beyblades? Beyblades used to be metal. Shit was crazy.
Oh my god.
Oh wow. Yeah, I kind of forgot about that. That's nuts.
Man, I cannot wait to talk about X-Men 97. It's gonna be fun.
Man, we're gonna have to because it's too good. It's too good.
It is.
I gotta start watching it. I'm excited.
It shocked me when I started watching it. But
if they can pull off these last few episodes and for this season, it's like, whew, man. I was excited to see this, but I would not have seen this coming with this show. It's crazy. Yeah.
Cool.
Very fun. Yeah. No, it was definitely a fun little watch. I'm glad I get to like kind of just check mark that box in my life.
Because like you said, we never would have watched it otherwise as children, just because the way TV came on back in the day.
It was impossible.
Yeah,
It
true.
was just like I probably watched like the same few episodes over and over again and missed half of the other ones.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, so X-Men, it's on Disney Plus. Check it out. It's still a fun show. Good background watch.
Nice.
Yeah, that's me. Shout out to God of War Ragnarok listeners.
Gotta be shout out to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth at this point. Let's talk about good games.
I think once I platinum it, that's when it'll switch. That's when it'll switch. Shout out to that. I'm over 200 hours in that fucking game now. It's great. All right, listeners, that is our show for the week. Don't forget, you can email us at thefortress@gmail.com. Fortress spelled FOUR. Feel free to email us any feedback, questions, recommendations, anything like that. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and the YouTube channel at The Fortress of. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your grandma, tell your cat. Follow the 3 Bollywood R's. Rate, review, and recommend us to anyone and everyone you know. Thank you, Jackie, for helping edit the podcast every week. Thank you, Brian, for the art. Alex for the music. And Devin, thank you for being here, even when you're not here. You can find Brian on Instagram at @ITZ_, by the way. Alex at Peters Films. And Devin at #1 King Charles fan.
George, come on, man.
Oh yeah, it's George. You're right. Next week, maybe it depends if we all catch up or not. It might be time for some Shogun. It might be time for some Shogun, guys.
Shogun.
Another show that I caught up on. Yes, it's cooking. It's a good show.
Hope you like subtitles.
Definitely not a background watch. Do not attempt to watch that show unless you can speak Japanese to watch that show in the background.
You have literally zero context at all times.
I saw something about like that they were using like an earlier version of Japanese too, so you could, even if you own modern Japanese.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I recently finished listening to some of the podcasts about that show. Yeah, the actual subtitles with the script, they went back and forth like 7 times to get to the subtitles where they're at in the show currently. It's kind of crazy. So yeah, maybe something else, because I believe this week Mr. Knuckles is coming out with his 6-episode series. So
let's go.
Who knows? We'll see.
I'm gonna talk about it whether y'all talk about it or not.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm excited. I might get stupid Paramount again for a month or whatever. And as usual, listeners, happy holidays, and put a code on us. Code out there.
At first, I got
wow,
scared.
silence. All right, listeners, we'll see.
I got nervous.
We'll see you here next week on another episode in the Fourtress of.
Autobots roll out.